if you're not ready to be a dog, right, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. Because
You said that you have this attitude of going all in anything that you do. What was the origin of that? Like, how did that happen? Like,
so, I mean, I mix a lot with entrepreneurs. So one of them taught me, shared with me one thing. If you're competing against people that are smarter than you, more hardworking than you, has more connections, and has raised more funds than you, and the only thing that you can compete against them is probably like putting in more effort, and you're really losing out, right? There's pretty much zero possibility that you can beat these guys in all kinds of maths probability. You know, when I say to my friends in China, I say, if you're not ready to be a dog, right, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur, because you're worse than a dog, you know? Okay, seriously, there's no life. When I was an entrepreneur in China, I have no life, okay? Zero life. Office work, every day. Just go back, come back. When I go out, it's morning, very early in the morning. When I come back, it's freaking like midnight, one. There's no social life, there's no nothing, one. Once in a while, we go out for drinks and everything, but it's pretty much, yeah. You must have that kind of determination. I mean, with all this kind of like, you know, drop shipping and everything, it makes things a little bit easier. But I wouldn't say those are really full-fledged entrepreneurs. What I'm talking is like people that has ambition to be like build a few $100 million or few $1 billion kind of company. That kind of entrepreneurs during the start, I wouldn't expect you guys have any life, one. Yeah.
You've probably heard that your story is your brand. So how can ordinary entrepreneurs and salespeople like you and me tell our stories in a way that cuts through all the noises in this overcrowded social media world and reach the audience that we want? Join me as I break down storytelling secrets that have helped me achieve over 8 figures in revenue, as well as interviewing some of Asia's most prominent names and rising stars to uncover their stories. I hope this show will inspire you to be more vulnerable and share your story to the world, because your mess is your message. My name is Gabriel Wong, and welcome to the Story Impact Show.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Story Impact Show. Today's guest is one of the most prominent names in the e-commerce world. He is a serial entrepreneur, digital marketer with over 14 years of experience in the e-commerce world. Having done over 9 figures in e-commerce sales himself, he has been featured on Forbes and Entrepreneurship magazine for his accomplishments. This episode is recorded in front of 200 live audiences, and he shared his wisdom on entrepreneurship and what it takes to succeed in today's world. He is also my business partner from LeapVista, an e-commerce education company based in Singapore, and he's also a very dear friend of mine. Please help me welcome Steve Tan.
all right, can you guys put a round of applause to Steve Tan?
How's everyone tonight? Can I hear you guys? How is everyone tonight? That's great.
All right. So I think before we even begin, I just want to first say thank you for agreeing to even do this in the first place. I know your time is very valuable. So once again, can we give Steve a big round of applause on that? Come on, yeah.
I'm actually a bit nervous. I mean, it's probably like a few weeks since I spoke, so I still feel a bit nervous.
Yeah.
Very close. But in the stage, it's actually quite far away. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close.
This mic is a bit soft. Can we, yeah. Thanks.
All right. Can you guys hear? Yeah. Awesome. So maybe I think most people may have not heard of you, or maybe have heard of you. For those who have not, maybe you could tell them more about what do you do. Maybe you can tell people like what is a e-commerce entrepreneur. What do you do on your day-to-day basis right now, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so we run like multiple e-commerce brands, dropshipping stores. Okay, so but kind of like a lot of people know us for dropshipping. So dropshipping, basically you don't actually buy inventory unless you sell a product. So it's a very, very lean business model which enables us, with less than $100 to my name, to actually build up all these things in a short span of time. It's because it's a very lean and very, very not capital intensive business model, which a lot of I know startups or a lot of people who just graduated, they don't really have a lot of money. So a lot of people preach about building a brand, which is great. Okay, building a brand is great, but sometimes they lack of reality. They don't understand that actually you need money to fund a great brand.
Yeah.
So all these big brands, a lot of them comes from they have a lot of war chests, or they have some VC capital that invested that allows them to build all these brands. So, I mean, I started from brands like Krios, and I had a few tech startups that actually we focus a lot on building brands. You know, I read a lot of books from all this, like, you know, all these very successful entrepreneurs. They say, oh, you must go all in and everything. So during my young days, everything I do is all in, 100%. There's no backup plans. There's no nothing. So when those fail, it's, you know, it's all for nothing. So you fall to the rock bottoms. Okay, back to the story. So drop shipping is basically you sell to a customer, and you order from a supplier that will directly ship to your consumer. So at any point of time, you're already paid by your customer. Then you pay your supplier to have them ship directly to your customer. So that's pretty much what we do. And we started building some of our different brands, something that we could eventually probably sell it, or, you know, IPO or whichever. So focusing on brands, e-commerce. We do have marketing agencies. We have logistics. We have softwares. So we're kind of in a lot of different businesses right now. So we have different CEOs running different businesses for us. So Evan, my brother, is pretty much the CEO for e-commerce. He runs pretty much all our e-commerce brands right now. Yeah.
So pretty much having a base of in a way cash cow for you to diversify into different businesses.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. You always need I think it's always critical and to understand that you need something to fund your ambitious idea. Okay.
Yep.
You need some of my students, you know, they have great drop shipping stores, probably generating around $1 million a month. Okay. So profit is probably $200,000-300,000 USD. It's really good money, 300,000. Then they started, you know, hand itchy or whichever, you know, where everything itchy. So they started doing brands. Okay, it's great. So he started doing a watch brand. You know, those very classic watches, which is a big pop, big hit in the last few years.
Yeah.
So he was spending 80% of his time into the brand. Okay, then 20% of his time doing the dropshipping store. So his dropshipping store was the one that was the one that's you know, funding everything for the brands. So because of the 80-20, he shifted 80% of his time to the brands. So his dropshipping store dropped until probably less than 100,000 per month. And it was getting harder for him to fund his whole operation. So it's that is why I always share with people, if you have something that's making you money, all right, if there's something that it's making you guys good money, all right, don't hand itchy, all right? Please don't. Okay, you might feel that it's funny, or you guys might feel that it's very common sense, but a lot of people don't do that. You know, the moment when you're earning money, you think, oh, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. You know, when I was if someone at my point of time taught me that, okay, I probably wouldn't even be doing all these brands. Because even some of my very close business suppliers, you know, because the time I stopped doing my e-commerce, I just went all in for all my brands and everything. Yeah. So a lot of people don't understand why, Steve, why you drop something like all that and went all in. So if I was doing, because back then Facebook is so easy, it's super easy. Yeah. But I mean, with the lack of focus, and probably I have a very big ambition, you know, it actually shifted all my focus away from what's earning me money. So eventually those projects that's earning you money eventually died. Then you have then you'll be scrambling to see, oh, how to save. And if you can't raise funds, or you don't have a lot of good cash flow coming in, then your company is going to be dead. Yeah. You know, very soon. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of earlier when I was talking about the funnel, right? Because the funnel is kind of like the cash cow, right? So then that funds your organic traffic, your content and all that kind of stuff. Because a lot of people want to start from there. But that's actually, if you think about it, that's actually building brand, right? You need money to do that. You need resources, video crew, video editors to do all that. So the first thing is actually to create something like a cash cow, and the cash cow feeds the branding, right? So it kind of reminds me of what I shared earlier. I wanted to take a step back and kind of ask you, when you said all in, okay? I didn't prepare you for this, but I just wanted to ask on that. You said that you have this attitude of going all in anything that you do. What was the origin of that? How did that happen? Was it because of your, were you inspired by someone, by your parents when you were young?
So I'm actually based in China, right? So my mom has some investments there. So I actually went there to accompany her. So I was actually in China for a long time. So I mean, I mix a lot with entrepreneurs. So I one of them shared with me one thing. So at one day, when I was leaving my office at around probably 11 or 12 midnight, right? When I was leaving the building, and I see all the building lights are still on, which means everyone is still working, right? When I was leaving, I felt a bit like, shit, everyone is still there. Then my friend said, oh, if you're competing against people that are smarter than you, more hardworking than you, has more connections, and has raised more funds than you, and the only thing that you can compete against them is probably like putting in more effort, and you're really losing out, right? There's pretty much zero possibility that you can beat these guys in all kinds of maths probability. I think kind of like Elon Musk said the same thing as well. You know, he put in a lot of like time and effort in all his business ventures. So I think I was kind of motivated by some entrepreneur. I forgot who. I think it's Xiaomi's founder. You know, he said everything that you do must be like 极致完美 and everything. I kind of like agree and disagree in certain aspects of things lah. I mean, his model is very feasible when you have like few 100 million sitting behind your back. You know, you can do freemium models and some things, but of course, freemium model still works. So kind of like, you know, his whole, I mean, when people are up there already, then, you know, the things they say feels easy. But I think sometimes you have to understand is like, you have to face reality when it comes to a lot of things. Yeah. So when I kind of go all in that time, I was like, I'll put in all my savings. If I'm set to do that, you know, I'll do my best, whatever it takes to make it work. And of course, when you do that, it's good. It's a double-edged sword. You know, things could backfire, and it might not possibly go the way you wanted, right? So it actually, after all these failures in life, I actually kind of like, I still go all in, but I always have plan B. I always have like, just in case, what happens? Is there any backup plans? Just in case if this doesn't work, right? I would not like, especially at my age now, I would not like go all in, right? There's no way I'll go all in terms of like investing, like, you know, all my money in a project. As much as I believe in one project, I'll be very careful. I'll be kind of like I've learned to be more pessimistic in business. So I always, let's say if I could be profitable at, let's say 40% or like 50%, I'll do like the worst calculations.
Okay.
Just so that, like, you know, if it's good, then you'll be super profitable. Yeah. But if it's bad, at least you're still covered, you know, in a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Does your childhood has anything to do with this mentality that you have in terms of going all in at the start? When you were younger, you would go all in.
I think
right?
no. I think not really, to be honest. My parents are all in business, but you know, they're all small businesses and everything. But I think gaming. You know, gaming. I'm very competitive in games. So me and my brother will take 24-hour shifts. You know, just to train.
So it's not the end if you're a gamer.
Right. Okay. Of course, during our times, there's no like competitive gaming and all that kind of stuff. So I'll do the morning 10 to 10 p.m. shift. Then my brother will take over from like 10 p.m. all the way to the next morning. Okay, so I was so addicted to online gaming that in order to, avoid going to like army, I was in army already at the time. So I wanted to do a ankle operation, just so that I can get 1 month off, so that I can fully focus on training my character.
We're releasing this recording.
It's okay. Then I mean, a lot of things happen. Yeah. There's a lot of things that happen at the right time. Everything happens for a reason, right? So I don't know. A lot of things happen. So there's kind of like a wake up call that my mom, she sacrificed a lot for me and my brother. So kind of like the whole thing that you guys just watched actually just kind of woke us up. Like, oh, okay, yeah. We want to buy so much things in the virtual world that we see. Might as well put all your energy in like real life. I think I have to say that I contribute some of my determination and all that to Adam Khoo. I attended his like his things. Kind of like it. I think fortifies my strength in terms of when I met very tough situations. Yeah. I wouldn't just crumble down like everyone else. My personality is when I met something that's very tough, I will strengthen up myself also to face. But of course when it comes to cash flow and all this, when you have no money, you really have no money, right? Yeah. So just that is why it's like every time when I fall to the rock bottom in the past few years, I noticed something when I hit rock bottom, every time I bounce back, it will be higher than the highest high from the previous venture that I was in. Yeah. But just kind of like have to add in more like careful measures to kind of like so. I've met some friends who are all poker players, so they're very risk calculative and all these guys. So I kind of like took some pointers from all these guys on how they think, how they play their hand, or like how they approach business. So it actually gave me some insights on how I should structure some of my business deals, so how I could protect myself more. Yeah, and of course, like I have to say, I have to attribute like a a lot of things to my brother as well, because he helped, because I have a lot of bad partners in the past, people that was there out there just to scam me money, you know, people are out there just to take advantage of you. It's really, really hard to come across great partners. And of course my brother, you know, as a blood brother, you know, I know my brother won't betray me and all that kind of things.
Yeah.
So it's until my brother was like, he graduated, he was kind of like my first, like, decent partner, you know, after all that shit that I've been through. Yeah, so it's quite tough, yeah.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship, I think, you know, I when I say to my friends in China, I say, if you're not ready to be a dog, right, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur, because you're worse than a dog, you know. Okay, seriously, there's no life. When I was an entrepreneur in China, I have no life, okay, zero life. Office work, every day. Just go back, come back. When I go out, it's morning, very early in the morning. When I come back, it's freaking like midnight one. There's no social life, there's no nothing on. Once in a while, we go out for drinks and everything, but it's pretty much, yeah. You must have that kind of determination. I mean, with all this kind of like, you know, drop shipping and everything, it makes things a little bit easier. But I wouldn't say those are really full-fledged entrepreneurs. What I'm talking is like people that has ambition to be like build a few $100 million or few $1 billion kind of company. That kind of entrepreneurs during the start, I wouldn't expect you guys have any life one. Yeah, yeah.
Sounds like you strengthened your mindset early in your life. Yeah. Would you say so?
Yeah, I think during then, when I had the wake up call, my mom, I told my mom I want to go to like Adam Khoo's thing. And during that time, I think they had some mindset thing, which I kind of appreciate, you know, that kind of helped me become very focused on my end goal, on what I want and so I was doing some planning, you know, and everything, yeah.
I think a lot of people, they undervalue mindset, because I think ultimately, you know, you can have all the tools and all the strategy, but you don't have the right mindset, you won't even do it, right?
Yeah, so the ironic thing is like, you know, probably back in those days, I mean, Adam Khoo probably don't even know who am I, right? I mean, probably just a participant. I was very active in helping go back coach people and everything. So, but until when I came back, I came back to Singapore, then suddenly I got the CEO of Adam Khoo actually messaged my mutual friend. He said, hey, can you ask Steve to come to my house eat dinner? So I actually went back. Then I told him I was actually in their batch. He was shocked. He said, hey, I didn't know that you guys was there. So it was a kind of like whole thing that the different turn of tables from like student to like friends in the short span of like probably 10 years. Yeah. So yeah.
Sounds like you also deliberately put yourself in the right environment.
Environment, you don't get to choose your environment, but I think you try to kind of like, you know, choose who you hang out with, you know, the people. Of course, if you hang out with all the people that are very demotivated, very negative, you know, 好吃懒做, every day just want to party or every day just want to club, you know, you're going to be in a mess. Yeah, so I think, you know, as entrepreneurs, you're kind of lonely in a sense, especially when I was out doing, and back in 2005 or 2006, when I tell people I'm doing e-commerce, people will give me that kind of slant eye, what's e-commerce? Maybe e-commerce, you know, you have all this eBay and everything, but it's not kind of like full-fledged e-commerce. It's not it's kind of not popular. So when I was telling people I was doing digital internet marketing, it's a very, you know,
back in the days.
Yeah, back in those days, it's very like, you know, when you do that, you know,
very shady.
Yeah, even my mother would say, 你儿子在做什么? Or like 网络行销, then they will like say, wow, must be some kind of scam or something. Like, then I also, it gotten to a stage whereby I can't even be bothered, you know, explaining myself. So I was like, okay lah, whatever, you know, yeah.
But what made you believe that is what you want to do?
I think I'm quite lucky in a sense. So because when I had a wake up call, I know I wanted to change the life for my parents, my mom. Okay, I want to change my life for my mom. So, and my mom don't have money for me to get anything. So I was, you know, when you really have no money, you buy, the time during my days, okay, I have to buy courses, then I have to refund them. Because I can only buy and read everything, then I have to refund them. That's the only way you can, right? Right, back in those days. All right, so during those days, it's like, those are how, then after when I earned my money, I messaged the founder, then I said, I'm sending you by PayPal, because like, you know, it made me money. So my first course was digital Internet Marketing Center. Who here heard of Cory Rudel? Yeah, there's only a few guys, okay? Those like really very, very old. That guy is dead already. Okay, that guy is already dead. Okay, but he got in, he didn't die because he's old. He got in a car accident. You know, he was racing some cars. Then, so from there, transition over to eBay, right? eBay was my first pot of gold. I was very thankful because during that point of time, there's no money, really no money, right? So, but my mom put me through university, Nottingham University in Ningbo in China. So when I started earning a little bit of money, I felt excited. And my mom don't really have much money to support me through. So in a way to, comfort her that, I told her I want to quit university. Actually, the real fact is I don't want her to, spend so much money putting me through university and everything. So I said I don't want to quit. And at that point of time, I was doing okay. So I left the school. I took whatever she paid for my university. In China, you have to pay like 3 months. So I took whatever's left. She gave me that as my startup capital. So that was my kind of like my first investment back into like my eBay business. So in a sense, it forced me that I have to start very, very lean. Everything has to be very small. Like that is why during then I was already doing dropshipping, unknowingly that I was doing dropshipping. Like even eBay, I was like, I was only buying when I sold something on eBay. So I was packing, I was writing all the, during those times I was so cheap that I don't even invest in a printer, because the kind of printer that prints the forms are actually quite expensive, like maybe $600-700. I have write until my hand is like, I have to ask my girlfriend write for me also. So we are two of them, during our holiday season, we were writing all the delivery slips for all my eBay business and everything. So, but luckily, that was my first pot of gold. Yeah.
Sounds like you were just trying different things and then one thing just hit.
I tried every single crap of internet marketing, like AdSense, blogging, selling digital products, everything. I tried almost everything. Nothing, I had some, maybe a little bit. So that day I was talking to one friend, he did SEO and he earned so much money. I was like, I was also doing SEO, but only maximum I earned was $2,000. And this guy earned tens of millions. I was like, okay, maybe I didn't crack the code. Everyone has the different, everyone is suitable for different. I think I'm built up for e-commerce. I kind of like, touching and feeling for, things that I kind of can see and touch.
Yeah. I always tell people that try different things, and it's okay to try different things at the start, because if not, you will not know what you really like. So it sounds like you were just whacking and just trying different things until one thing sticks.
I think I was quite fortunate that actually, even though eBay didn't really make me a lot of money, but at that point of time, that kind of age, I kind of felt good. I was like, it's like, because when you haven't sold anything online before, you will feel that, is this real? Can you actually make money online? Then when you ship something, you see the order coming in, you see the PayPal money coming in, it feels so good. Yeah. That time it just feels so unreal. Then everything was okay. Then when I quit university, probably 3-4 weeks later, then my eBay account got suspended.
Got shut down.
Yeah. Then I was like, oh my god, I told my mom everything's going so well. I'm quitting, I rented my own place, everything. Then shit happens.
Yeah.
At that point of time I was, I bought so much inventory. I was sleeping in they call it 单身公寓 in China, 1 bedroom, okay? I sleep with all my inventory. So my bed is in the middle. So I'm surrounded by all my inventory. I have to like tiptoe and everything, walk across everything. So it was kind of like back in those days, yeah.
Wow.
So it was quite funny.
I didn't intend to ask you this. I didn't plan with you, and you can answer if you want to.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you have a close relationship with your mom.
Yeah.
Could you tell us more about your mom?
My mom pretty much we come from a single parent family, right? So she pretty much sacrificed everything for us. So since young, me and my brother were very close already, in terms of like everything. I know I've seen a lot of tragic stories working with siblings or brothers. Me and my brother, we share everything. We're very close since young. I think that kind of like, in a way, is also trained by my mom in the sense that, it always is a tight family. So, my mom could have remarried, given when we divorced at a young age, but she chose to, like, because she's seen all these horror stories, stepdad no good, hit the kids, or all these kind of things, right? So, she's very clear in the sense that she will not want that ever to happen for us. So she sacrificed everything for us. So I'm glad we kind of like grew up to hit her expectations. Because I could totally relate now, right? Like, when she gave up everything for the kids, then we are also like just playing games. Then every day she come in, even Chinese New Year, whenever we finish dinner, we'll go right into the room. We won't talk to her. We just go in, continue training. level 99, you know, that kind of things. Every day just want to train. And I also don't know why I train so hard inside the game for what also. I also don't know. So I think it's just for the sake of being number one in the server, which doesn't mean anything at the point of time.
Yeah.
It's just for like, oh, feel shook, you know, and everything. Yeah, so that was kind of like how we grew up. And I think she taught us a lot of values also in terms of like integrity. So, and the thing is like, sometimes I also feel like I was telling my brother in a sense like, we only kinda, you know, from partners before. We never did anything in our life that kind of like, you know, go 陷害人家 or go harm people or people that just partner up just with bad intentions. We are always the victims. I was telling my brother, hey, shit, always making some stupid partners and everything. So sometimes I also question my mind, like, you know, if we could just be a little bit more bad or, you know, we can easily earn so much more money without integrity. You know, we can sell like like those enlargement pills or whichever. We don't sell that kind of things, right? You know, we have integrity. But you know, I have friends in those industry that I personally know that are generating over tens of millions with super high margins. They have zero integrity one. They don't care. They don't care if the things kill them or whichever it is. So they have no. But for us, it's like every time we do, it's like, then we will, like, even if we sell product with something, is this product okay? You know, you don't want people to receive really like very shitty product. And we have a conscience in a lot of things. So I think that's kind of like how our mom taught us since young. Yeah.
Wow. Is there a story of like how she taught you guys this stuff when you were young?
I think she'll use examples. So for example, like even though my mom knows that I'm lying, she won't expose me.
Okay.
Like there's no way I can lie to her. I also don't know why. You know, somehow even I can. No, I can be very cool about it. She still know that I'm lying to her, but she wouldn't expose me. So she was like, you know, she's very smooth in terms of educating. So she would always give like subtle frames or I don't know. Maybe she's an NLP expert. Wow. All right. So she's like she'll give very subtle things that, you know, I'll realize myself. Oh shit, maybe I did something wrong. Yeah, you know, all the kind of things like yeah.
Thanks for sharing. You guys enjoying this? Yeah. Okay. Because of lack of time, I wanted to carry on with a few other questions that we've talked about.
Yeah, sure.
What were some of the hardest things that you had to go through in this journey, in this entrepreneurship journey?
Hardest journey, I think, is like, you know, being able to, how to say 坚持 what's that?
Determined? Persistent?
Persistent, determination and everything. I think it's like when there's zero hope, I think you're the only one there, you know, for yourself, pretty much. You know, when like, as much as your parents and everything want to help you, like, you know, there's always only a certain, unless they're like super loaded, there's a different case. But in terms of my mom, she's like, she always like, hey, take my money and everything. It's like, I say, impossible, I'm gonna take your money. It's like, what if I fail and everything, right? So I think it's like how to really push through dark days and how to kind of like, I think the toughest was rebuilding yourself up when you're destroyed. Okay, so during the chaos thing, it's like I lost everything. Okay, not only I lost all my money, I lost my reputation.
Yeah.
I don't have, to be honest, I don't have online presence at the time. I don't have zero. But I've been approached by all the top VCs in terms of Silicon Valley. You know, I've approached by even Microsoft's like retail VP flew all the way from Seattle to Shanghai to meet with me. He said, we want all your products in all our retail stores and everything. That time we walked also got a bit air one. Right, all the top guys come knocking down your door. Hey, we want to invest in you. We want to partner up with you guys. All the telecom companies in Korea, everyone they just hey, we want to really this
for Korea.
Yeah, for Korea.
Wow.
So it's like how you go through like this whole thing, right? This whole thing and being able to take the crash and actually rebuild up your whole confidence. So after Korea, I immediately did a second startup and I failed. Right, then this whole thing was like, I went through a little bit, kind of like a down period, depression a little bit, you know. I just don't want to do anything until that sentence actually woke me up.
Someone said, why don't you go back to e-commerce, right?
Yeah.
What was the biggest thing you learned through this down period? Other than the fact that, like, you know, to be determined, to persist throughout.
I think you should just focus on what you do best. Yeah, I think I kind of neglected that. Actually, I could go back. You know, I have all the, you know, knowledge sticks with you all the time. And I went to do Forex. Can you imagine me trading? I was trading like freaking 12 hours.
Chasing shiny objects.
Yes, I was chasing because I was like, okay, I want to rebuild up my wealth very quickly, right? So in a sense, I want to see how how we could build back, and I lost 50,000 more
Wow.
of my mom's money,
Yeah.
right? So in a sense, it's like, it's like you should, during your downtimes, I think you should kind of like think what are you best at, like what you shared just now. You're very good at selling, and what you could explore from that, and then expand from there.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good. If you guys are going through anything right now, especially, start asking yourself like, what are you good at, and start focusing on that instead of like chasing on a shiny object. I mean, I can relate to that because back then I just lost everything as well, and I was just chasing everything. I was just doing everything, and I further lost like I think another 30K or 40K when I was really in like such a huge debt. That was a really good advice. Can we give Steve a round of applause for that? Yeah, I think that's amazing. I want to talk about a few more things. I think one more thing is we are starting a company next year together. Right, and when Steve approached me, he was actually looking to start something, and he kind of told me a vision of this company, and I bought into the vision. So could you maybe tell us more about this company? Why do you want to start this company in the first place? Why do you want to start an education company? Like, I'm pretty sure people have like questions like, hey, you're doing so well, why come out and teach, right?
Okay, so it's pretty much the last ever business model that I want to go into. Okay,
Yeah.
but kind of like when I approached Gabriel and a few of our partners, we kind of felt, because I've worked with a few partners in the past, especially in the Singapore scenes, right? I kind of felt there's a lot of not very responsible, people that are doing education in the market.
Yeah.
One of the most common ones are people that don't even know e-commerce, or probably people that are don't even have results.
Yeah.
Those are the people are teaching. That's the worst case,
Yeah.
right? How could you teach? So it's something like a professor teaching entrepreneurship in university, right? If you don't have real life experience, how could you actually bring value to your students,
Yeah.
right? In a sense,
That's also one of the reasons why I quit school when I was young.
okay, this sentence wasn't said by me. It was said by my professor in university. He said, "I can only teach you guys the theory." He said, "If I'm so good, I will not be here sharing with you guys already." That's what he told me. Very
that's
upfront, right?
honest.
Right, that's very honest. So basically, we felt there's a lot of like not very responsible education providers in Singapore, and we kind of want to disrupt this whole thing. And in terms of, we vet our own trainers personally, right? We know who's legit, who's not good, and we kind of felt like support is one of the issues. Like, when you sign up for something, then you need support, or you need like access to the coaches or whichever. There's always only like very limited.
Yeah.
So that is the reason why we invested in a big office as well. We want to kind of host more this kind of like meetups for free, or maybe some incubator style, so that we can get a lot more people, entrepreneurs or people that just graduated from university, to come like very casual. There's no selling and everything. Just meet up, share knowledge. I can easily get people from PayPal, Facebook, Shopify to come share free knowledge with everyone, so that like
How many of you want that? Yes? Yeah? Can we give Steve another round of applause for that? Yeah?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kind of in a sense, we want to do that so that we can kind of give back a little bit more, because like, for us to personally do it, probably we're kind of quite constrained in terms of time. So I kind of like plan with my partners and everything, and of course Gabriel, to kind of see how we could like bring on quality trainers to kind of like be the support, and really build the whole kind of like a better environment for people who are really want to start doing like trying out entrepreneurship. At least I want to set them on the right track.
Yeah.
Don't want like learning from all this, God knows who,
Yeah.
all this like online gurus and everything. Kind of like set off this whole good vibe.
Yeah.
So that people have support.
Yeah.
When people come in, probably one of the things that we want to do is like, when you buy once, you can come back for lifetime remedial trainings. Kind of like, I want to do it. It's kind of like, in a sense, tuition center, 补习中心, you don't can go there, ask teacher, and everything. Kind of like a little bit that kind of hybrid style, where people can come back and refresh their memory. Because for us, might be easy. Oh, just click here, click there. It's very simple. But for a lot of like people that's starting out, or maybe for elderly people, they kind of like, they might felt lost. For us, it's easy, but they might felt lost.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like our vision in terms of how we want to build our company called LeapVista moving forward.
Yeah.
So we are super excited. Office is almost ready. We spent a huge bunch of money, like getting a great space.
Yeah.
So next time we don't have to rent this place anymore. Yeah.
Okay. One of the things I was very aligned with that is because my life was transformed when I was 17, when I attended a seminar. However, and that seminar changed my life, because I didn't come from a rich family, not a rich background. I was from like, this school called Hong Kah Secondary School, which I always joke that it's like the top 5 school in Singapore from the bottom. And you know, I am surrounded by non-entrepreneurs, surrounded by ah-bengs, and I was kind of like a bit of an ah-beng. And you know, entrepreneurship has never been my journey, but I attended one event. Actually, it's a Rich Dad Poor Dad event. It was Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a good
and
event.
the event totally changed my life. However, I realized that the seminar industry recently, I mean, it's always because of some dark horses. Not everybody, right? There's a lot of bad names in the industry. And over time, I also realized that, you know, the training program itself, right, doesn't make a lot of money. That's one of the reasons why you started and you stopped for a while, right? Because I remember Steve actually stopped for a while, and he came back later because of a mission. And it's the same thing, you know, I run an agency, and I only provide courses once in a while, and it's not my main source of income, because I believe that we have to be practitioners. Right? It's not just teaching just for the sake of the money, but like for me, it's teaching so I can be better, right? Teaching so I can help more people, but my agency is still the one giving me the biggest part of the income. And I only do the program when I want to, not because I have to, right? And that's the reason why I align so much with LeapVista vision. Perhaps you could just share with us a few more things before we end this session, before we have a Q&A as well. What would be some of your biggest advice you would give to people who are struggling right now, who are in a transition period, or you know, who are just starting out?
For people that are just starting out, right, if you're kind of lost in terms of what works, I think it's good to kind of like pull yourself back, you know, step back one step to kind of analyze the situation a little bit, kind of see who are the people that's, you know, crushing it in this market, who are the people you should be following, who are the people you should learn from as well. Because like for us, when we were just starting out as well, like we kind of like did a lot of research, a lot of due diligence, like before we kind of like approach who we want to learn from, or probably like which groups or whichever. There's so much access of free information right now, especially like YouTube and everything, groups, but kind of still like don't bombard yourself with too much unnecessary junk, right? There's always something that called like too much, you learn too much. That's why it's always good to learn from an open mind, but always do due diligence first before learning. Because like if you learn something wrong, then you have to unlearn everything. Oh, yeah. So for example, like when we hire like our media buyers, we rather someone is like new, because like sometimes a lot of media buyers will say, "Oh, I'm very good," right? But when you bring them on, it might not be a good fit. You know, the ways they scale, the way they structure the whole thing might be very, very different from what we want. So sometimes we even prefer like white sheet. We train them from the scratch, so that all their habits and everything is right, because they might learn from someone who's different and they might think it's still right? So in terms of like learning, if you're lost at this point of time, you know, I think it's always good to be like believing in yourself. I think that's usually that's the part whereby you give up, because if you're lost, you don't know what to do. You know, you have to focus on what you are planning to do in terms of like what kind of niche you want to go into. E-commerce, digital marketing, funnels, or whichever. Everything can make money on, okay? When I saw an example, I was like, wow, I was telling Evan just now, wow, seems easy, right, in a sense. So I think it's more about like staying focused. Don't just, whenever you see one shiny object, then keep jumping, you know? All this. So in terms of me, it's like, we're blessed in terms like I'm always learning internet marketing. So when it comes to using it for e-commerce, it still works because it's still marketing. So that is how we are able to do 100K in the first day in crowdfunding. And a lot of people say, oh, it's lucky, but actually we know it's not lucky, because we planned the entire launch funnels. You know, we're doing like, you know, I mean, before when all these things were savvy, people were not even talking how you launch. Maybe there was Jeff Walker was talking all these launch things.
Product launch.
Yeah, product launch. But no one was talking about how they launch it for physical products. But it's just how you take what you know and reiterate a little bit and use it for physical products or brand launch and everything.
Yeah. Kind of like just once again, it's like success modeling other industry, and then seeing how you can actually use the frameworks, model of frameworks, and how you use it in your industry. It's like earlier when I share like the high ticket funnel, for example, I was showing examples of like coaching and, you know, inner circle, but hey, you know, it can be used for property, you know, it can be used for different industry. Any final thing that you want to say to the audience?
All the best. Okay, entrepreneurship is definitely not easy. Okay, if you guys want to be an entrepreneur, like I said, I already mentioned just now, be ready to sacrifice a lot of things. Your relationship, your everything. You pretty much have to be like on the line you must be willing to put everything on the line. Or, there's a difference of like, of course, entry, medium, high level and everything, okay? But if you guys want to be like a freaking billionaire, and just thinking by itself will not happen one. I will not just zen a bit, then the money come down already, right? If like that's so good, right? I know of course a lot of people practice, what's that called? The law of attraction. Right, of course I practice that too, but you have to practice it with action, right? If I'm so good at like that, then come out already, then probably I'll stay at home and just practice my Zen mode already. Right? So I think just hustle. You really have to hustle. If you don't have even the heart to hustle, or I think one thing I heard from Jack Ma, he said, you must always be the generator to power people. If you are someone that always require me to power you, like to motivate you, then you're probably not cut out to be an entrepreneur.
That's good. Yeah.
So
be a generator.
Yeah, you're a generator to power. So whenever I tell my staff also, I say I don't want to be always motivating you. If I need to always motivate you, then you're a light bulb, right? You're a light bulb. So I want you to become a generator so that you can power more like all your team members, and so that how you could train all your team members to become generators as well. And I kind of felt that was very powerful when he was sharing the story. So I use that to motivate all my staff and also, of course, all my team members as well.
Yeah. That's so good. Can we give Steve another round of applause? Come on. I think we're running a bit out of time, but there's a couple of questions that came in that I think is good that we could just address them. Some of the questions are kind of addressed to me, some of it is you, so I'll probably just ask along the way, and if I know it's probably for me, I'll just answer and probably see if Steve have another point of view, okay? I think sometimes it's not about what's right or wrong, but sometimes you can learn from different perspective. How many of you understand what I'm talking about? Yes? Right? So I think the first one is how to improve quality of leads and prevent fake leads. So I think it's more like the funnel question, so I'll just answer this first. Really, you just use a funnel. A funnel filter out the right people. Like, can you imagine if they had to go through like all that 8 questions, 10 questions, you know what I mean? And that filter the right people for me to call, and those that are fake leads, I don't even bother. Does it make sense? Like, it doesn't matter to me, okay? Steve, any input on this? Okay.
No.
Okay. Are you currently, okay, this is a bit technical. Are you currently using CBO, which stands for Campaign Budget Optimization? How's the result and tips on using it? Steve?
We don't use a lot. We use it probably less than 20%. It's doing okay, but I think more technical kind of questions, I think it's better to ask Evan. So he's behind there. Okay, if you guys want to ask more technical questions, I don't run a lot of my Facebook ads nowadays. I usually just care about reports nowadays. I just care whether it's making money. So they will be quite scared if they have to submit a negative report to me. Right, so in a sense, I just like to see all this. Of course, just joking aside. I mean, like, I'm at a stage whereby I don't need to run all these ads myself personally. So in terms where usually I'll network with people and I'll find out, hey, is this good? Then I'll send it over to my team, execute it. So I think it's one of the advice. I mean, if we have time, one of the advice is like once you're doing okay, a little bit okay, you don't need to be like super okay. You have to start delegating something out, okay? Like there's so many VAs around the world. Of course, it takes time to find the best ones and everything. But I think as entrepreneurs, I think it's very, very important to start delegating a lot of things so that you can free yourself up for more important things.
Sometimes when we say something like that, it may sound arrogant, but actually the truth is that we just want to focus on things that are important. So like for example, in my agency, it's the same thing. It's a very technical question. I mean, I don't run my ads myself anymore. I have people that runs it. But you have to eventually move up to a level where it's a bit different from the question that was asked, but you have to eventually move up to what is really producing, or what's really more important for the company rather than just like the technical stuff. Okay, but anyway, to answer you, right, for our agency, we do a lot of CBOs. I mean, I don't run it anymore, but I do ask for reports and understanding about how the ads is run. We do run a lot of CBO. I think it's a lot of your own testing end of the day. And I think CBO will be like compulsory next year anyway. So it's
good to start setting it up in terms of compliance with CBO as well. Sure.
Facebook is going to make it compulsory for everyone, right? Yes. When? Do you all remember? Jan? Okay, so in a few more days, start using CBO then. Okay. What are different types of video? Testimonial, video, origin story. Okay, so a list of different types of video. I'll probably give a list in the Facebook group. Is it okay? Because we don't have time to go through every one of them. Content quality versus quantity. I personally will go with quantity first, because you don't know what is quality until you have quantity, at least for content. Because you don't know what strikes. You just gotta start just throwing out different things at the wall and seeing what sticks. For me is that. So I would put out a lot of, if you're talking about content, I'll put out a lot of content. I won't care that much about the quality first, because you want to aim for progression instead of perfection. All right? Perfection, you never start. Right? Does anyone know what is the best written book? Still writing. You get it? You get it? All right? So I think it's quantity in terms of content. Just put out as much as possible, see what sticks, and then you can always redo the content later on. Okay? Hi, Steve. Do you use funnel and offer creation on your e-commerce store as well? Could you give an example?
I can't give an example, but we do use funnels, but it's not click funnels. Okay, basically we build it through WooCommerce. We use Woo funnels. In a sense, we only use it when it's like a niche product that we really want to like scale in terms of like just one single product, and then we'll probably put a few products to upsell. So I think you can do that with Shopify as well. You can use Zipify Pages by Ezra, and you can build out your funnels from there. Usually you'll see higher conversion for like funnels, but in terms of branding, I think it's still better to use Shopify in terms of a store. Then you build out your whole design from there. So funnels, we use it for stores that we're not planning to build branding for a single product page.
Okay. Do you advertise on other channels besides Facebook? If yes, how do you integrate marketing on all various platforms? Still a technical question, but do you have any answer for this?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you have to diversify. We do not put all our eggs in one basket for a lot of obvious reasons, right? I mean, like the Thanos snap, I mean, I can't even recall. So we're going to, I think I shared this on AWA. So when we wake up with no account bans, right, we felt that's a strange day.
Yeah.
Right. So waking up to, account bans, okay, it's very normal.
Facebook account bans, if you guys don't know.
So, I mean, we have thousands of accounts, so we don't really care about bans anyway. So in a sense, like, sorry, what was the question? Sorry.
How do you integrate all the marketing in various platforms?
Okay, so, I mean, with Facebook, obviously, Facebook is still the biggest traffic source for us, but we definitely do, like, GDN, Google Display Network, we do Google Shopping, we do SEO, we do some small other natives and everything. It's always good to invest, explore new traffic channels. Of course, there's a big problem for a lot of people is like, once something is good, everyone gets comfortable. It's like, this one is probably going to last 10 years.
Yeah.
They start doing holiday, world trip, start doing all that fancy stuff. Then it's like, then after that, the time died, then, I think goes,
Okay. I think for me is, we do advertise more than Facebook. Again, if I were to come back to what I've just shared earlier, offer, funnel, and what? Traffic. Traffic is the least important to me, because what's important is the offer and the funnel. If the offer and the funnel is good, whatever traffic I use, it will still work. So to give you an example, we were doing some work for some clients with a very irresistible offer, pretty proven and amazing funnel. And what we did was that Facebook was giving us a lot of issue. We took the whole thing and we just switched it over to YouTube, right? And it gave us half the cost without doing anything different. All right? So because our offer and our funnel was good. Does it make sense? Right? So all that, I would say, like, don't focus so much on the technical stuff, because it will always like kind of go outdated eventually. I mean, like Facebook bans account and algorithm changes and all that stuff.
I think focusing on more the high level, like execution, kind of like decisions that, somebody has to do that, partner or whichever.
Yep. Okay, maybe we do have enough time for all the questions, but maybe just a few more things. Which traffic platform should we start? There are so many platforms to learn. Steve?
Definitely Facebook, 100%. Yeah,
Yep,
Facebook
agreed.
is kind of like the easiest, kind of most user-friendly in terms of like getting started.
Yep.
You can get started with $5-10 per day. Probably just skip some Starbucks and you can get started already.
I agree. So for Facebook, even though Facebook is giving us a lot of issues nowadays, but personally, Facebook is still the most user-friendly. So like if you want to set up a YouTube ads, you're gonna go through you're gonna go through quite a tough time. I'll just be honest with you. You gotta know you gotta be already a seasoned media buyer in a way for you to just kind of like go over to different platforms like TikTok. Now we are figuring out as well. But Facebook is very user-friendly, so anybody can just kind of like start and then just go. And then because like with CBO, all that, you don't even need to do targeting. You can just go like, there were some campaigns we just go broad, like no targeting at all. We just run it and it's getting us the best result. So Facebook is really user-friendly. You can kind of learn it very fast. Start with that first, but once you understand the principle, then you can start to explore different platforms. That is my recommendation. Okay? Thank you so much for being part of this podcast. I really appreciate it. Can we give Steve a big round of applause, yeah? Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Steve.